Hey guys, welcome to New England Next Gen. We're going to be talking about standing firm and how to debate when your values are questioned. We're talking about something that every student runs into. Maybe it's in class, maybe it's online, maybe it's even from a friend. If you're on social media, someone sees that you shared something about something political, anything at all. They're going to, either comment on that or they'll message you personally and be like, "Why did you say that?" Or "How can you say that?" Or, you know, any kind of insert name calling here, there, you know, anything that's going around. We can't, feed into that. And I want to teach you guys how to respond. You hear names like fascist, racist, NAZI, I'm not going to say the word, but German, thing, and white nationalist. But here's the truth. Most of the time, people throw those labels not because they've proven you wrong, but because they've run out of real answers and real arguments. So today we're going to talk about how to stand firm, how to figure out what your core values are, and how to respond when the conversation turns into name calling. First off, debating isn't about destroying the other person or winning just to brag. You shouldn't go into a debate being like, "I want to be them." I know that, like, Charlie Kirk will say that, being in a debate is like being in the gladiatorial ring, but that is not his purpose when he does it. He wants to be able to stand firm in what he believes in, and that is why when he has, like, those statements that say, like, I don't know, "Big government sucks, prove me wrong." He puts that in "prove me wrong" because that's the call to action of, like, try to shake his belief because you probably can't. So that is what your goal is when you're debating. You're trying to show that your beliefs are rooted in something real. The goal is to stand firm. Here are 3 quick tips. Don't react, respond. Take a breath. We always say in my house, like, be calm, cool, and collected. You have to be calm. We put on our own mask first. We take a breath. We figure out, like, evaluate the problem. So take a breath before you answer. Calm always beats angry. Stories and facts beat opinions. If you share a personal story, something real that you've learned, that's way stronger than just saying, "Well, I think blah, blah, blah." Stand your ground. Even if they don't agree, they should walk away knowing that you didn't get shaken. So the biggest thing I'm going to try to teach you guys is how to figure out and discover what your core values are. You can't debate someone and then not have core values, because then you don't have that foundation to stand on. So how I can best explain this is that you can't defend what you don't understand. So how do you figure out your core values? Think of it this way. I'm trying to make it really easy. 1, what makes you upset? If it bothers you when people try to shut you down and shut your opinion down online, you probably value free speech. If lying makes you mad, you value honesty. Number 2, what makes you proud? If you love when your family sticks together, you value family. If you feel good when you work hard and earn something, then you value responsibility. And then last, what would you never give up? For me, it'd be my faith, my right to have an opinion, my love for my country. You could put, if you feel the same way, you could put those down, but it has to be something that is your core value. These 3 to 5 things are your anchor. When a debate happens, you're not just saying, "I think this." You're saying, "This is a part of who I am." That is what makes you stronger. I'm sorry if I'm shaking the camera a little bit. Sorry. I'm getting passionate. Handling name calling. It's my next little section. Here's where debates usually get messy. Instead of ideas, people start throwing labels. So let's break down the big ones by definition and then by truth. I feel like this is good to cover because if you're battling someone calling you with this kind of name and you want to understand, like, what are they calling me and what does it really mean? Or it makes you mad but you really know why. Here's the answer. A fascist it means total government control over people's lives. Conservatives actually believe in less government and more freedom, so it's the complete opposite. If they call you a white nationalist, that's what they were doing at our vigil in Boston, they're calling Charlie Kirk was, there was the sign said, "We don't mourn white nationalists." And I'm like, hey, I honestly don't even know what that means. But, you have to dig deeper. So being a white nationalist means believing in white people are superior. Conservatives believe everyone should be treated equally under the law, equal opportunity for all, not domination. And then the famous, Hitler's Socialist Party name, that's believed in that they believed in dictatorship and racial supremacy. Conservatives reject socialism, they reject dictatorship, and they believed in freedom, and they still believe in freedom. So I shouldn't put that in past tense. They believe in freedom. And lastly, the biggest one, I was called this today, is a racist. A racist believes one race is superior to another. Conservatives believe in equal opportunity for all, success based on hard work and character, on merit, not your skin color. And remember what Proverbs 18:2 says. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. That's exactly what happens when people throw names instead of arguments. They're not interested in understanding. They just want to shut you down. But don't let it shake you. In the moment, here are some real conversation responses. In the moment, here's what you can say. If someone starts insulting you, you can say, "Notice how this went from ideas to insults? Can we get back to the issue?" Or if someone calls you a fascist, you can say, "Fascism is total government control, and I believe in freedom and limited government. That's the opposite." And if someone calls you a racist, you can say, "I believe in equal opportunity for everyone. Let's debate ideas and not throw names." You kind of have to redirect them like children. You have to, if there's a conflict, you have to redirect. You say, "Hey, let's get back to the real issue. Let's not, go off on some tangent on something that's not even, a fact of truth." So that way you don't lower yourself to their level. You stay calm and you keep onto your high ground. You keep onto your foundation. Remember those core values. So here's my challenge for you this week. Take time to write down 3 to 5 core values that are yours. They have to be yours. What makes you upset? What makes you proud? What would you never give up? That list is your foundation. And when values are challenged, remember 1 Peter 3:15. It says, "Always be prepared to give an answer, but do this in gentleness and respect." And that's like the biggest thing, is that you can respond back and have like everything like possibly true in your, you could go to ChatGPT and say, "I'm going to answer this person's questions and I'm going to give them the facts." Well, if you give them the facts but you don't do it with gentleness and respect, you're not going to reach them. You might not reach them even if you do it with gentleness and respect, but you have to do it in love or it's not going to get through. Because, that whole quote, and I can't quote it right now, but the best way to put it is that, you can't drive out, hate with more hate. You can only drive hate out with love, and that is how you do it. Because they hate what our core values are, and that's what they're trying to shake, and you have to show them in love, that you're not going to be shaken. And then this is how, that's how we're called to respond. The next time someone questions your beliefs or tries to label you, don't shrink back and don't lash out. Stand firm, speak with clarity, and rise above the noise. Because at the end of the day, insults fade, but character, truth, and freedom, those will always outlast labels. This has been a great time with you guys at New England Next Gen. I thank you for listening. I want to get to the last thing before I just end this all together. Is feel free to reach out to me on how to figure out your core values. If you're not, I know it's kind of hard, so you have to ask yourself the questions. If you can ask, you can go on Google and get the AI to give you an answer on hey, I'm trying to figure out what my 3 to 5 core values are. Figure out what those are. And then you can start to build a foundation for why you believe for what you believe. Okay? So start with that. And then if you have any questions, feel free to reach me at New England Next Gen 2025 at Yahoo. You can also reach me out on the website, which is newenglandnextgen.com. And I look forward to you guys. I will be also doing a kind of different podcast tomorrow. I'm trying to get another young person from our generation on, and he's going to talk about, we're going to be talking about information and misinformation. and how we can handle and combat that when we're seeing social media and we see all this information coming in and we can't really figure out like what's true, what's not, and you start believing what you see right away and you can't take things at face value. You really have to research, and I know from experience that it's really hard because it does take time. I tried to find today, I was searching stuff on economics with illegal immigrants and how much that affects our country. I can still tell you right now that I don't know everything that I need to know to even host that podcast yet because there's so much that goes into it. So I just want to say thank you for joining me at New England Next Gen, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.